What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of Sports Talk with Hawk. I am Hawk, and it is a absolutely gorgeous day to talk some football. Here is the podcast I told you guys I was going to do, featuring the Indianapolis Colts, primarily only them. We will close out the podcast today going over the current contracts for quarterbacks in the NFL. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's jump straight into getting through the Indianapolis Colts' current depth chart as it stands right now. Their quarterbacks are Anthony Richardson, Joe Flacco, Sam Ehlinger, and Caden Slavis. Here's the thing. And yes, because this is my home team, I'm going to comment on every single position, likes, dislikes, and everything in between. So here's the thing about the quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson runs a certain offense from Shane Steichen. Last year, Gardner Minshew wasn't horrible at running that same offense. They were only a game away from making the playoffs. So you really can't say that quarterback one and quarterback two were really that far apart. This year, you've got Joe Flacco. And I know there's all those people that were like, look at what he did last year. That's why he got a contract. I certainly hope not. He played not even half a season. And in that game against the Texans, looked so old and outmatched. He's old. He did not age gracefully. He's old. He can run a good offense, which is what Stefanski has. Steichen is not Stefanski. I don't put him in the top 5 play callers. He may be 9th or 10th. The coach has a lot of issues. Coaches a lot of my way or highway, which doesn't work in the NFL. He's not a player coach. He definitely hasn't gotten a bunch of respect from the guys. So quarterback, I'm worried. AR, injuries, constantly. Too early to say he's injury prone, but not too early to say that he's got it. Be careful. Can't have all these injuries. You're the franchise quarterback. You're drafted to be a franchise quarterback. Play and protect yourself like it. Their running back room is strong with Jonathan Taylor. After that, it is extremely weak. Trey Sermon, Tyler Goodson, Evan Hall. Now, I like Hall. I have always liked him after coming out of Northwestern. I liked him at Northwestern. I was hoping he would be able to jump up the depth chart through training camp and become the second back, because I think he has a very Rex Burkhead type feel about him. He can run it between the tackles, and he can get you those yards. I think he's a very good screen back for third down. And he's smart. So I really hope that he gets that position there as the second running back. The receiving core, I don't understand what they did in the draft. Not going to lie at all. Michael Pittman Jr. never should have paid him that much. Isn't worth it. You don't get paid this much money to catch 4 touchdowns. I'm sorry. I don't care who your quarterback is. You don't get paid over $24 million a year I guess it's 23. You don't get paid $23 million a year to catch 4 touchdowns. Good gosh. It's almost $6 million per touchdown. Sign me up, coach. I'll get $6 million. One touchdown. One touchdown, and I'd be set for over a decade. 2 decades minimum. That's even after the government takes half of it. Like, you've got to be worth what they're paying you. Pittman is not, but they didn't want to lose him. Josh Downs is already injured, unfortunately. It's going to be a little bit. We'll find out. We'll find out how long as time goes on. Adonai Mitchell now looking like a decent pick because of Josh Downs going down. I still don't know why in the world we would have picked him. Had so many other holes to fill. Receiver was not one, but maybe he's needed. Alec Pierce got the short end of the stick with Gardner Minshew. Here's some stats for you. Actual stats. Alec Pierce ran the most go routes of any receiver in the NFL last year. Want to know what else? He was open on 63% of them. And open means, I believe in that calculations, is more than 1.5 yards of separation. So more than 4.5, 5 feet of separation. He was open. Gardner Minshew was just not able to get the ball to him. He didn't have the deep ball arm. And Alec Pierce, I have thought for a while, has been absolutely underrated for what he does. He caught he caught the touchdowns last year that kept the Colts alive. He caught the touchdowns to keep the Tennessee game in. He caught the catches. He makes grabs. The guy has great hands. I don't understand why he's 4th on the depth chart. I don't understand why we drafted Adonai Mitchell when we had Alec Pierce and we needed so many other things. Don't understand it. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. I doubt it. I haven't been wrong about the Colts the last 7 years. The other receivers that we have now are Anthony Gold, which is a returner. I knew why they picked him in the 5th round. That made sense. We didn't really have a guy we wanted to use on returns because you don't want to use downs. He's your slot guy. Ashton Doolin isn't fast enough, but he's also one of our other receivers. Now, tight end is where this gets a little bit interesting. Jelani Woods should be the starter. They've got Kylan Granson currently as the starter. He shouldn't be. Mo Alley Cox, getting older, still solid. I would trade him. There's a couple teams that could use some backup tight end help. We've got 4. But, hey, why not have 4 tight ends in a team that uses 1 tight end all the time? You know, that's how it works. All right, Bernard Raymond is our left tackle. He's not bad. Blake Freeland is the backup. Yeah. Okay. Quentin Nelson, our left guard. Perfect. Danny Pinter, the backup. Not great. Ryan Kelly is our center. He has dropped off a cliff. Now, he had personal stuff, so I have a rule. I never attack personal, private, real life matters. I don't attack those. But the only thing I will say, they have coincided. And when that happens, there is an adult conversation that needs to be had. Family, team, whatever it may be. There's an adult conversation that needs to be had. He's not playing the way he used to. He was a liability many times last year. He's not reading defenses that well. Like I said, there's personal stuff. Don't want to be disrespectful at all, so not gonna speak on that. But this is a business. This is a results business. Somebody will have to have that conversation. Will Fries is the right guard. Horrible right guard. Absolutely horrible right guard. Will Fries is bad. He gets beat on blitzes all the time. People have to cover for him all the time. It's horrible. His backup is Josh Sills. Braden Smith is the right tackle. His backup is Matt Gonzalez. So the offensive line for the Colts, to me, really is a B minus offensive line. I wish it was more. Quentin Nelson deserves a lot better. So does Braden Smith. Bernard Raymond's a B left tackle. I'm perfectly fine with him where he's at. Will Fries and Ryan Kelly, honestly, no. No. Just doesn't. It just, those two do not work. And since it's a big hole in the middle, it's where the blitzes come. That's where they stunt. Right in the face of the quarterback. Pressure just is too much. All right, moving to the defensive side of the ball. This is where it gets a little bit interesting because Gus Bradley has been said to actually not be a good defensive coordinator. I like Gus Bradley. I like what he draws up. I think he understands he has one job. Don't make the game impossible for the offense to win. Because the defense he has, let's be honest, isn't really great. It's really not. Here's what you have. The defensive line isn't bad. I do like the defensive line, the way it's set up now. I do like it. Kwity Paye, I believe, is a very Raheem Brock-esque defensive end. Remember, when Raheem Brock came into the league, he was a defensive end long before he got moved to defensive tackle. Kwity Paye, to me, is one of those types of guys that can, in a sense, play both. He is big. He's got some really good bowl moves, but he is a very good defensive end. Then you got DeForest Buckner, the heart and soul of that defense. He's the leader. Grover Stewart just signed the big contract sitting right next to him. That's big. Taven Bryan, experienced backup. That's big. Abanai Muhammad, backing them up. Eric Johnson. Okay? It looks really good. Jonah Lulu, hang on. Lalu, sorry. The lesser known is the third string defensive tackle. So defensive tackle got a little bit of depth. As of right now, Jared Avery and Latu are the backups to Kwity Paye. I don't like that, but hey, you draft a guy in the first round. My thought is he never is third on a depth chart. Never. Draft him in the first round. He needs to be starting on the other side. He's not right now. Tyquan Lewis is the starting right end. Hurricane Dio as they call him, Dio Amendio, or otherwise known as Hurricane, is the backup. And then Isaiah Land is the third string. Your linebackers are EJ Speed. He's fast, but he's bad. He's bad. Just there's no other way to put it. Then you've got Zaire Franklin, middle linebacker. He gets a lot of tackles. I'll give credit where credit is due. Tackles a bunch. Then you've got Sagan Ahubi, or Abubi. I'm sorry. Okay, hang on. Alubi. Man, trying to figure out how to say it. It is Alubi. Sagan Alubi. Grant Stewart is his backup. That one's easier to say. Sagan Alubi is going to be our starting right outside linebacker. Juju Brents and Dallas Flowers are our starting corners, along with Jalen Jones, Darnell Baker. Kenny Moore is the most overrated, overpaid cornerback. Actually, it's now nickelback as it's been made a position in the NFL. He's short, really not that good, doesn't have a lot of hops, doesn't really have a lot of man-to-man coverage skill. But, oh well. All right, our free safety is Nick Cross, the one who's getting blamed for injuring Josh Downs. Then we have Julian Blackman as our free safety, and strong safety. And then Ronnie Harrison Jr. is the backup safety as of right now. Matt Gay is currently the kicker, with Rigoberto Sanchez as our punter. Defensively, we have no secondary. Really, that's what it comes down to right now. Defensively, we have no secondary. Juju Brents is not good. Yeah, he's tall. He's not good. I know there's Colts fans out there like, look what he did here and look what he did here. Listen, when you play a bad offensive line, he better show up. The other issue is this: last year, we were one of the worst. The Indianapolis Colts were one of the worst against the run. You got Grover Stewart, who just got paid a good amount of money, DeForest Buckner, who just signed an extension for a good amount of money, Kwity Paye, the rookie who's going to get paid some money here shortly, and now you got Latu. I like Latu. I was legitimately afraid he was going to drop and the Texans were going to draft him to put him as an outside linebacker. I really was. I was terrified that that would be the way the draft shook out. It didn't. Hallelujah. I don't believe he really fits the Colts defense. He's small. He's a great 34. If he was in Pittsburgh, I'd say he's going to challenge with J.J. Watt. I love Latu's ability, his athleticism. I really do. I like him. I loved watching him in college. If you want to know about him, just Google the USC UCLA game to finish last year and watch what he did to Caleb Williams. That's simple. For those of you who have seen Draft Day, you understand what I'm talking about. Watch Caleb Williams when he's not on the field. Watch Caleb Williams when he's on the field. Latu is a good 34 linebacker. It's a first round pick is way too early to have a third down specialist. Not in the cards. But we shall see what they do. It's really all we can do. All right. The Indianapolis Colts, for me, have a very close place in my heart because I am from Indianapolis. I went through all the agonizing divisional games and wild card games and championship games. The Super Bowl The Super Bowl loss to the Saints, I'm okay with. And there's one reason why. Especially hearing about it afterwards. From the Saints side, Tracy Porter went to Indiana. For 4 years, minimum, he watched Peyton Manning in that offense on Sundays. I watched the Colts every single Sunday. My mom and I would sit in the room and I would call out the plays before they happened, and my mom legitimately thought I was an Einstein genius. I knew how the offense worked. I knew what the looks were. I knew the tells. When you talk to Deion Sanders and you talk to Ty Law, Charles Woodson, they told you the tells that the offensive player would give them. This was always a run. This was always a pass. This was a screen. This was a fly route. They learned their opponent. That's why what Tracy Porter did in the Super Bowl was so doggone impressive. He knew the play. He had watched it like the rest of us Colts fans had, over and over and over. He baited the throw beautifully and broke all of the Colts fans' hearts in one quick hip twist move. That game wasn't sad for us losing, although we were sad. That was a display of an understanding of the opponent that shows you why it's important to study and know who you're playing. Without Tracy Porter picking that off, that game was starting to get away from the Saints, even with the onside kick and everything else. The Colts were driving. If they drive down, they're taking the lead. The game is going to switch in a couple plays. Instead, it switched in one play, and it switched to case closed. All right, how do I want to do this? Said I wanted to go through some of the quarterbacks, but maybe I'll wait, get out of training camp, and make sure we don't have any other extensions that could change this list. Because doggone it, still got another week of training camp. People are still trying to negotiate, so I'll save it. Only one team. A little bit of nostalgia talk. Quicker episode. It's the weekend. Why not? Guys, I appreciate you stopping by. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. And I hope that it is filled with lots of joy, no work, and that you get what you want accomplished. I know I probably won't. You guys are wonderful, as always, deeply appreciated by me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, ring the notification bell so that you know when a new podcast is live. Guys, this has been Sports Talk with Hawk. I'm Hawk, and I'm out.